Morning. Good morning to my Facebook friends and my YouTube friends, my audience, people that care about anything I say. Good morning. I am sticking to my live schedule. Over a week ago, I said that I was going to be going live on the social media apps that I have the ability to do that on, and that is on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. So I've been using the Restream app to be able to simultaneously go live on Facebook and YouTube. And then I add TikTok because I haven't been able to get them into the Restream yet. I add TikTok on my uh, notepad here. Gosh, what is iPad? And then we have our Sunday morning conversation about menopause wellness, some current events, and that sort of thing. Now, because I was sick last week, I was very much challenged to to going forward with my commitment that I made for myself. I honestly believe it's the first time I've had COVID. I was a COVID virgin. I've never tested positive for COVID. I didn't even test myself this time, but this sickness was very different. And some of the things that was happening to me, I remember people saying back in the early days of COVID, like losing your sense of smell and chest rattling. And that's, so I honestly believe I did catch COVID when I went to see Jill Scott on the 14th. It took 5 days for it to come into effect, and then it just took over. And it was right around the time that I committed to going live regularly. So it was a challenge, but I did it. And I'm back this Sunday for my live schedule. So it's going to be today, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., Wednesday at noon, and Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. So that's my live schedule. If you're interested in joining me, I would really appreciate it. It's called Sunday Brunch Live, and I have no food to offer you. I only have my 21 years of menopause wisdom to give you to feed on. And that's what I'm going to do for the next 45 minutes to an hour. In a couple of minutes, I'll be adding the TikTok audience, as I said, on my iPad. And so I sometimes have a guest join me on TikTok to co host with me. So, what will happen is when that person is talking, you'll see me just sitting here not saying anything. And so, just keep that in mind. I'm not ignoring you on the YouTube and the Facebook. I'm just adding to the conversation somewhere else as well. Okay, so I ask you to be patient. If you see me just sitting here not saying anything, it's because someone in my live on TikTok is talking. This is just my incense. I like to create an ambiance for myself alone. So that's what I'm doing. Not starting a fire. Anyway, I'm going to add the TikTok audience now, so be patient with me as I do that and welcome them. And just know I haven't forgot about you, okay? So here we go. Okay. So let me see if my guest is going to be on time today. Today we are going to primarily talk about how you speak over your menopause journey. Okay, that is going to be the main topic today. How you speak over your menopause journey. And the reason I want to talk about that is because I see a lot of people. Hi, user. Welcome to the live. I scroll these TikTok streets, and I see a lot of women complaining about what they're going through in peri and postmenopause. Mainly peri, because that's when you're surprised. By the time you get to where I am in postmenopause, you're not surprised by the crazy things. Hi, Auntie. Welcome to the live. So, yeah, we're having a conversation today about speaking positively over your menopause journey, okay? Because a lot of people complain, and it's a lot to complain about. I know that. But negativity and talking negativity about things going on in your life is not going to help those things to be better. Thank you for joining the live, Sticky. Welcome. Okay. Thank you for joining the live, Alba. Welcome. So, today we're talking about speaking positively over your menopause journey. I know it's a novel idea. Hi, Coach. Welcome to the live. Hi, Camille. Welcome to the live. I am Sharice Watson. I am a menopause wellness coach and the author of a menopause wellness journal that is available in the TikTok shop. It's called But My Vagina Still Works. Good morning and welcome to the live. Blue Weathers, welcome. Super. Thank you for joining the live. Welcome, Meg. Thank you for joining the live. Dashes. I appreciate all of you giving me, even if it's just a second of your time. Thank you for joining the live. I am Sharice Watson, a menopause wellness coach, and I'm here to talk today about speaking positively over your menopause journey. Hi, Amanda. Welcome for joining the live. Welcome. Thank you for joining the live. Welcome to the live. Hi, Ed. Thank you for joining the live. We're talking about menopause stuff today. Yes. Elizabeth, thank you for joining the live. Nurse Takeover, thank you for joining the live. Anil, thank you for joining the live. I appreciate you joining today. So, back to what I was talking about. Speaking positively over your menopause journey. A lot of you are out there, what the hell is this? What is going on in my life? Why is this happening to me? This sucks. I hear you and I see you. And I get it because it does kind of suck. But what you need to start understanding is that Lisa, thank you for joining the live. Kinder, thank you for joining the live. Majestic, thank you for joining the live. Jim Breno, thank you for joining the live. Yes, what you must understand is that speaking negatively about your menopause journey is not going to make it a positive journey. Okay? It's going to draw the negativity. And it's easy to get sucked into that because the things that happen to women when they start losing estrogen are crazy things. So it's easy to say, this sucks. I didn't want this. Hi, Prophet. Hi, Anthony. Thank you for joining the live. Thank you, everyone. Menzimar, thank you for joining the live. Tater Tot, thank you for joining the live. Good morning. Good morning, Prophet. Thank you for joining the live. Hey guys, I am a menopause wellness coach, and that's what this live is about, menopause wellness. So I'm going to be talking about a menopause wellness journal, a gathering for women to come together virtually and in person if you're in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. These are the things that I'm going to be talking about today. I have a live schedule. I think I shared it with everyone. Everyone. I think I did. And the live schedule is Sunday brunch at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Monday morning at 9 a.m. for your menopause motivation on Monday. Wednesday, a sacred pause at noon. So that's at noon Eastern Standard Time. And Thursday evenings, where we go on Thursday Thrive Live at 6 p.m. Now, if you can join me for all of those, I would appreciate it. But if you can't, that's cool too. Catch me on the next one. You get the schedule now? That was before I made the schedule. It did used to change, but I am committed to my schedule, and that is what my schedule is. I mean, yeah. I still rattle in my chest. I'm so tired of this. I honestly think that I'm not a COVID virgin anymore. I said that before, and unfortunately, I believe it to be true. Anywho, so today we are going to talk about speaking positively over your menopause journey, okay? And the reason that's important is because negative self talk becomes very loud during menopause. Negative self talk becomes very loud during perimenopause and postmenopause. So, speaking over your menopause journey negatively is giving it a vibration of negativity. So a lot of people I see coming online saying, I hate menopause. Menopause sucks. This is bad. This is happening to me. This is so bad. And that is negative talk. And then it'll pile on because the bad things happening to you are also happening to your brain. So if you're already talking negatively about your journey, then you're also going to start talking about yourself negatively because the journey isn't going to get easier with the negative talk. It's going to be even more negative. And so you're causing a negative experience to keep happening because you're saying, this sucks. Why am I going through this? I can't get out of this cycle. All these things are happening to me and it becomes overwhelming. You start judging yourself and talking about yourself. Why can't I get over this? Why can't I do this? Why can't I stop doing this? Why can't I remember stuff? When the whole time what's happening is a scientific thing going on in your body. You're beginning to lose estrogen, and that affects everywhere you have estrogen receptors. Do you know how and where your estrogen receptors are? Let's see. Anybody put in the comment where you think estrogen receptors are in your body. Anybody? I'm waiting. I'll wait. Y'all put in the comments. I know it's some people in this room. Tell me where you think there are estrogen receptors in your body. Nobody knows. Okay. Everywhere. Everywhere. Every single where. And so when you start to lose estrogen, it affects everything. And your brain too. Okay. So then you start having these symptoms that are annoying and sometimes very bad. And they start piling up, and you're not able to cope with them well. So you start talking negatively about yourself, even though what you're going through is not your fault. It's not your fault that estrogen starts to leave your body, but negative things do start to happen because of that. And if you continue to speak negatively about those things, they're not going to get easier to handle. So that's what the topic is today. Speaking positivity over your menopause Metamorphosis. Why do I call it a metamorphosis? Does anybody know? Yeah, something completely different. Right. Hello, Janie. Thank you for joining the live and announcing where you're from, the great city of Chicago I lived in briefly. What a time. And yeah, so it's a metamorphosis. Menopause is a metamorphosis. But if you only speak negative over it, then it's just a negative, traumatic time in your life. And that's what it used to be for me, too. A negative, traumatic thing for like from 2005 to 2017. Yeah. So I understand why a lot of people just talk about it in that light. You know, you're on social media, you're 40 something, and you start having these symptoms and you want to talk about it because it's like, am I the only one going through this? And instead of looking at it in a positive light, everyone is joining you and yeah, this sucks. So hey, it feels good. You got a whole team of people now agreeing with you that something going on in your life sucks. Did it help? Hmm. It is. And I get it because you're going through a lot. And a lot of it you may not even understand is connected to perimenopause or postmenopause. Something happens and you're like, this is weird. And then later you find out, oh, it's because I was losing estrogen and progesterone. Hmm. Yes, and that's not easy. Like when you think about when I use the term menopause metamorphosis, because I can look at myself now and see how different I am than even just 6 years ago when I still owned a salon suite. I was a completely different person. I had, you know, goals of writing at that time, but I wasn't doing it because what was important to me at that time was keeping my salon open. During that pandemic, it shut down. So then I had all this time to figure out, what are you going to do? Go work in another salon? And that's what I did initially before I started writing. I said, well, I'll just go work in this salon. And I went and worked in a salon and around the corner from where I live. And then those people turned out to be racist buttholes. So I eventually had to leave. So yeah, it's a discovery. Now I wasn't in my 40s then, but I'm saying that even at, what was I then, 58? I was at around 58, I think, or 59 when I lost my salon. So I'm starting over again, right? Just like you said, women in their 40s are doing. I was doing it again. Like, it's like I've been doing it my whole life. What was her change? Do you mind telling? Oh, wow. So she reinvented herself in her 50s. And I think a lot of us will do that. Wow. Look at your mom reinventing her whole life. Hey, Mars Martine. Haven't seen you in a long time. Okay. I love that. Yeah. And so, yeah. Yeah, AI is everywhere now. You cannot avoid it. If anybody out there is thinking, "Oh, I can live without AI," forget it. Because when you go to the doctor's office to get a checkup, they're using AI. Anywhere you go in whatever business you use, they're using AI. So don't think you're going to sit up and be, "Oh, AI is the devil. I ain't using that." Okay. Hmm. Well, I want to just repeat what Claudine had said, because for my TikTok, I mean my Facebook and YouTube audience, that one of the people in the TikTok live said that they read an article that says that, say it again, that women are going to see menopause earlier in primarily America because of the stress that we are under. So, and also recognize that a study was already done, the Swan study, that says that women in that are African American experience menopause earlier already and have more severe symptoms, and also it can last longer than for other women. So now we're hit again as Black women with more stress and earlier menopause. So that's what you're saying. Is that their, is this their FAFO? This is their FAFO. Right. That's true in a lot of ways that we won't, because it's so many that we won't go into. But the FAFO is real right now for a lot of people. And not just what in what you were talking about, the menopause area. But back to speaking positively. Now, for months since February, I've been telling y'all that on my podcast, I had interviewed the author of this book, The Empathy Gap, Tammy Triola. She's also on TikTok. I don't know if she's on Facebook. I know she's on YouTube as well. She also has a Substack that's she's regular on. So this is called The Empathy Gap. And she made this because she was in the DIY space, not DIY. What is it? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. DEI. Okay. I do this. DEI. She consults with businesses, or she was before the current administration kind of, put a damper on her what she was doing. But yeah, so that's the reason that she wrote this book, was to help people to find their empathy, and in finding that, you would be able to overcome the shackles of white supremacy, because white supremacy doesn't just hurt Black people. Okay. And so that's what she made this book for. But she also made something called an empathy scorecard. And I took the empathy scorecard, and because I felt myself, still doing that negative self-talk even over 60. It's crazy how you can talk about yourself in your head, and so I said, let me take that empathy scorecard to make sure I'm being empathetic to myself. And when I took it, it indicated that I had the proper level of empathy for myself. But that may be because I'm just naturally an empath. I don't know. So, yeah, but she also updated the empathy scorecard. But the point is that I saw her book and her empathy scorecard, and I said to myself, a lot of women in menopause need to use that empathy scorecard because they're sitting out here talking about themselves negatively on a daily basis. And so I wanted to interview her to see if she felt the same way. Is your empathy scorecard, do you think that this will help women in peri and postmenopause? And she agreed that this would help women. So that's why I initially wanted to interview her. And I interviewed her back in February, but I don't have a podcast producer anymore, so I have to do everything myself. And that's why the interview is there on my computer and not edited. It's crazy. And so I have made another schedule, Dee Dee. I have made myself a schedule for getting my podcast out for the next 6 months. It's only going to be one a month, and I already have two that I just need to edit. Isn't that crazy? I know, but isn't it crazy that I just be sitting? I don't know why. There's no explanation. There is none. I know, but I made my schedule, and that's the thing that I'm trying to do is just be accountable to myself. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I let things go because I say, oh, well, it's not going to kill me if I don't do that today. And I'll just do something else that's easier, you know, because it's not easy editing a podcast and it's not fun. So, but I have committed to the next 6 months to having an episode each month. And this month is going to be the Tammy Triolo interview about self empathy during peri and postmenopause. And I'm hoping to have it out by this Wednesday. So that's my goal. If I don't make it by Wednesday, it'll definitely be in July. July, okay? The other one that I have ready to go is I need to edit it a little bit, is when I went to Greenpoint Wellness Dispensary and they interviewed me for their podcast. So you know how long ago that was. It was over a year ago. It was over a year ago. But I'm going to edit that. So that's two that I just need to edit, not actually film. So I'm ahead of my schedule. Isn't that great? So yeah, everybody, I have a podcast. It's called But My Vagina Still Works, the podcast, Mental Well-Being and Lifestyle Changes. And you can listen to it on Spotify, Apple iTunes, and Amazon. And you can watch the episodes on YouTube. So there's plenty of ways to enjoy the podcast. And the reason I made the podcast is because I found where I had the most audience, the biggest audience I had was TikTok. So that's where I was primarily posting my menopause content. I've branched out. Azure encouraged me to make a Facebook page. So I did that. And then I started my YouTube channel. But still being on TikTok, you cannot talk freely about certain subjects. So that was the whole reason behind the podcast, because I would be able to talk freely about the different subjects that are affecting us that are not able to be talked about here on TikTok. So the podcast is where I go deep into certain subjects. I talked about in one of the first episodes my depression during postmenopause, but I also experienced depression in perimenopause. So I have another episode that I'm going to do about. Thank you. Thank you so much, Andrew. That's very nice. I have another episode on the podcast where I talk about, oh, one of our menopause warriors too. So that doesn't make you any less special. And so the podcast is where I go deep. I talked about my depression in postmenopause in one of the first episodes. I think it's like maybe the second one. And then I had an interview with one of our old menopause warriors where I traveled to New York and interviewed her. And so that's in there. I also have an interview with another woman that began to use hormone replacement therapy bioidentical, and it gave her libido back. And that's a very interesting episode. So all of those episodes are available, like I said, on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and YouTube. So go subscribe to my podcast because I'm going to be putting up the Tammy Triola episode very, very soon, probably this Wednesday. And follow my content. That will tell you when it's actually coming. I'm Wednesday. Okay. Let's cross our fingers. Then we also have, okay. So y'all know that I have made a menopause wellness journal. Okay. I created a menopause wellness journal for women going through peri and postmenopause. It's called But My Vagina Still Works. This is the second edition. The first one was published in 2024. This one was published this year in January. So this is the second edition of But My Vagina Still Works. And what we're doing is being the embodiment of what we believe in real time. Okay. So, what does that look like? This is a journal. How do you embody a journal? Well, because the last section of the journal is about social wellness, social wellness in menopause. Why is social wellness important in peri and postmenopause? It is very vital. Can anybody tell me why? Just because. Just because it is. Because you feel isolated already, right? When you start to feel those menopause symptoms, what's the first thing? What's happening to me? It's right. Yes. Right. Because then they say, me too. That's why the Me Too movement was so big because women kept saying, Me too. And so when you start talking about what you're going through in menopause with other women going through the same thing, it helps them and you to not feel isolated in this journey. And isolation can become deadly in menopause. It just can. You can isolate yourself into very deep depression because you feel like you're alone and you're not. That's why we come here every Sunday and I have a new live schedule. That's why I do the things that I do, because I want to help somebody out there. I don't know who, somebody predestined to run across me, to know that you're not alone in this journey. There's other people going through what you're going through, and together we can help each other. And that's why I created the Sacred Pause Sister Circles, which is an event that is happening again. I've had it before, and okay, we won't talk about that, but this is the second one, regardless. And it's to help women know that they're not alone. And the good thing about it is it's not just something that you can attend in person. You can, if you're in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, you can. But if you're not, you can attend virtually through Zoom. And that's how it's set up. So that this is not just something that's happening in my area. Now, already the second event is already doing better than the first one. Okay, I'll just say that. So, I just want to encourage anybody out there to celebrate the small wins, because it, right? Remember, I don't know when. Yay. If you're trying to, oh no, that's crazy. I've been doing this live for, okay, maybe, okay. So yeah, I love the first Sunday. Okay, the first Sunday we tried to do this, we had the same problems with the freezing up with using Restream. We're gonna keep going though. Hopefully it'll be okay. But you were saying something and you were going in and out. Do you remember what you were saying? Oh, okay. So what we're doing is the Sister Circle event on the 19th of July, virtual and in person, from 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 2 to 4. Yeah, 2 to 4. So it's a 2 hours, and in person we'll have refreshments and all kinds of things. And virtually we'll have some special things for the virtual audience as well. So you can go to Eventbrite, and there, I don't want to say something to lead y'all out of the app, because the jealous boyfriend is real and petty. But there is information in my bio. Yes, absolutely. So that can be found there. Or you can inbox me. I'll be happy to share you the information on how you can register, because you need to register whether you're going to attend virtually or in person. Because virtually, there are some perks that I'll be giving out to virtual attendants, and in person, there will be things that I'll be giving out. So, this to be a good resource that they can do monthly. That's the plan. Okay. That's the plan, to have a sister circle monthly. But life be life, and so don't get mad if it don't happen one month. In fact, August may be challenging because I'm going out of town. So we'll see. We'll keep it at we'll see. What do y'all think? Yeah, for in person, but you could always attend virtually, right? Yes. Oh, y'all two do it like a whole self-care event for yourselves. That's awesome. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Those are all great ideas, and easy to implement because virtually, you don't have to get up out of your bed. You can just sit there and talk with your friends about what you're going through, and we can all give you some helpful tips on how to get through this menopause metamorphosis. Because at the end of the day, the goal is to get through it. And it's very important to me because I know how close I came to not getting through it. So for me, I feel sort of an obligation to help someone else not get to that point where I don't even need to be here. It's fine if I just exit. And that's why I do this. Right. Right. And maybe even explain some things that are going on with you, because remember how we would be talking about things here in the live and then the actual things would happen. Oh, some people talk about their lips shrinking, but not me. Oh, and I know That is a menopause symptom. Indigestion and acid reflux can get really bad. I'm telling you, I used to have to sleep sitting up during perimenopause. I would have to sleep sitting up because the reflux was so bad at one point. This is when we lived over there in Bowie. when, when did I have menopause rage? Please tell me. Because I know one time when I wanted to rage out and I didn't, I was just like, let me leave. Let me sit on their phone with you, calling me old. Oh, no, that wasn't menopause. That was just me. That was just me. And that wasn't menopause because honestly, it I moved from Laurel in what 2004 or 5. Yeah, I wasn't experiencing. I I could be wrong because I remember when I started having problems with my thyroid, I honestly think that was the beginning of perimenopause because, and that was in 1998 when I had started having a lump on my thyroid, right? And then in 2000, I had thyroid surgery, and half of my thyroid was taken out. The side that had the nodule was taken out. And a lot of times we confuse perimenopause symptoms and the hypothyroid symptoms are very similar. And that's why I believe that I started perimenopause maybe in 1998, 99, right when I moved to Laurel. So maybe you could be right. But I didn't know it at the time. Wow. Thyroid regulates so much, and I didn't realize it until I was having problems with it. And that is something that affects a lot of African American women, hypothyroidism. Good morning. Yes, we are. If that's what you need to talk about, we are your community, girl. So that's another example of a woman in her 40s starting perimenopause. So all those women out there in their 40s who are in denial, and I think one is in my family, that I'm sorry. If you're walking around with fans in your bag, more than one, it could be you. What? What? Okay. Me and Claudine was cracking up at the photo shoot because she was like, oh, no, no. Meanwhile, here's a fan. saying, let's get out of the denial, ladies. Yes, you can go into perimenopause in your 40s, even earlier. Don't surprise and don't judge yourself. Thank you so much. Don't judge yourself, because what is happening because of your estrogen leaving. You don't have any control over that. What are you going to do? Say, stop, estrogen, stay there. Right. Because you're losing hormones. They're losing testosterone. And the difference is that they don't lose it like us. Like ours fluctuates. One day you may be having a lot of estrogen, the next day it boom, 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 down. Progesterone and even our testosterone starts to fluctuate and leave. So we have several things going on. Whereas a man, I think they have estrogen too, so maybe they do lose some of their estrogen as well as testosterone. Yeah, I don't. Yes. Mm. Well, they also go through physical. They can, lose the. Hmm. I think even that tapers off though for women, because like about 2 or 3 months ago, I was cutting my chin hairs every week, at least twice. It's like, ooh, femicides. Mm, yeah. Absolutely. You cannot deny that, as much as we talk about the lackings of the Black man sometimes, but you cannot deny that they're still also under that same racial stress that we are under, you know? Well, Melinda Gates has just donated millions, hundreds of millions to menopause research. And probably because she's just starting to go through it. And, I don't know how much of that will be Black women specific, but any research that's done to help women in menopause is better than none. You know what I mean? And for her to do that, it signaled to me. Melinda was like, "Hey, something ain't happening right with me." Yeah, you're right. T Light, you're absolutely right. In this era, there are a lot of Black celebrities who have reached the age of peri and postmenopause, and they're talking, and that's great. Because when I started going through it in 2005, there wasn't no celebrity that was out there talking about their menopause experience openly. That it just wasn't happening as far as I could see. And then I think she may be having them now. She's like, well, she talked about using CBD to help her sleep. So, and that was when she was doing Coachella. So that was 2018. Yeah, I could see Tracy doing that too. Mhm. No, that was probably Willow Smith. Apparently, she had a baby and nobody even saw her pregnant. Vanessa Williams, the old Miss America, right? Not the other actress. She's still gorgeous. She's still gorgeous as ever. But she went through hell, remember? She went through hell. I'm talking about when those pictures came out about her, and they took away her crown and all that. And, then she, there were some relationships that were weird. So, she's been through her stuff. And I admire her for just, persevering. Thank you. I was going to say something, but I decided not to. But yes, because I saw her pictures and no one talks about that. Oh my God. What a double standard this world is. That wasn't no art. I don't know how many people have seen her pictures. It was not art. Oh, it probably was his old orange stank ass. Grab him by the. Danny DeVito, bro. He was hilarious. Oh no, that is crazy. When you think about it, dang, that is, yeah. And then also, another character that represents him perfectly is the boys, the one in the boys. I mean, I remember that other show he was in that I used to love. Oh God, yes. He's like, he always plays some weirdo, but Homelander, ugh, he's horrible. He is horrible. And the black dude in that is just so pathetic. He's like, yes. It's like, can you be any more pathetic, sir? Dang. No. I was like, ew. I saw that and I turned it off. I was like, I can't even finish. Anyway, I just want to encourage people to sign up register for the Sister Circle event, the virtual or in person. You can do it now, you can do it today. Go visit my Substack and read the article about women making companions later in life, how it's difficult, but it can still be done. And you may find people that are your people for a minute or for a lifetime. They could just be there for a season and a reason they're there, or a lifetime. But you have to still be open to having these relationships, especially in peri and post menopause, because that is a very isolating experience and it can become a danger for you if you're isolated and don't have any support. So that's why we do the Sister Circle events. And I'm encouraging everyone in the room, if you're standing on the outside, you can inbox me, you can ask me, where can I get the link at, all that. Just stay on the app, okay? If you want. If not, go out and go to the link in my bio and it'll show you exactly where you need to go to register. And on that note, we're going to conclude the live today. And I want to thank my audience on Facebook and YouTube and say